Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. I hope you're all having an amazing holiday season, and I hope you're all looking forward to the new year. I know I am. In today's video, I have a prop box that I started about a little over a month ago, and I have some Hoya Carnosa Krimson Princess cuttings in there, and I did check them about 2 weeks ago, and some of them do have some pretty good sized roots on them. So I thought I would show you what I have going on there, and also I will give you guys some updates on some of my houseplants as well. Some of them have been putting on a lot of growth for me, and most of them are looking beautiful. So let me turn the camera around and we will get the video started. Okay guys, so this is my little prop box, and about maybe 5 to 6 weeks ago, I took a lot of cuttings from my Hoya Carnosa Krimson Princess. I did check them about 2 weeks ago or so, and a lot of them were starting to get some pretty good sized roots. There were a couple that I noticed that have some yellowing stems. They may not root at all, but I'm going to take them out of here, all these cuttings out of here, and see what kind of roots we've got going on. So I'm just going to start grabbing them, and it looks like this one definitely has some nice sized roots. I think I'm going to just pot all of these cuttings up that have a decent size root system on them, just to get them out of here. Let's see, this one here, I don't know whether that is a root or not. No. And it doesn't really look like there are too many areas on this stem that will actually produce roots. So this one may not root at all, which is kind of sad because that's pretty. Let's see what else we have. Yep, this one looks pretty good. Lots of nice roots there. That's a pretty cutting. So that one will be good. There's another one. Let's see if I can get a better view of those roots. One decent way of knowing that your cuttings have roots on them is the sphagmos will stick. There you go. The sphagmos will stick to the roots. So that's a decent one. Put those ones over there that don't have any roots. Let's see, here's another one that I don't think has any roots on it. No. Not sure what I'm gonna do with this one. Maybe we'll just keep trying with this one. That one's too pretty. Okay, so there's another one. Nice. And let's see here, how about this one? Yep. Some nice roots there. I may put this one back in the box just so I can get some longer roots on that one. Sometimes it's hard to tell between the roots and the sphag, but like I said, one good way to pretty much know that you have some roots going on there is when the sphag sticks to the cutting. I don't see many on this one, So I may keep this one in the box as well. Gotta love a prop box. So much fun. That one has some roots beginning. And this one, not so much. This one here, not so much. This one has the beginnings, so I will probably end up leaving this one in here for a while longer. This one definitely has some roots. Big old hunk of sphagnum on there. Okay, so that one is nice. Got some there. This one I am thinking is well rooted. It looks like further down that I have them buried in the sphagnum is where the nicer root systems are. So I'm gonna have to make sure that when I put these back in, that they're buried pretty good. There's a nice one. There's one right there, I think. Yep. And here's the last one. So anyway, I'll end up taking a look at these a little bit closer to see what I have and what ones I feel I can safely put into soil. I know I have potted up Hoyas, especially from this Hoya here that I've had for a few years now. I've rooted some of these cuttings in water and they've had maybe 1/4 of an inch as far as a root, and I potted them up into soil and they've done fine. So I may do that with some of these cuttings as well, but I do just want to kind of take a look a little bit better to see. So anyway, as far as what has been going on in my sunroom, my Micans has been doing fantastic. Love this plant so much. And the leaves, just since fall time, the new growth has been coming in a lot larger. Not sure if that is because of the position of the sun and that maybe those leaves are getting hit a little bit more with some direct sunlight. That could be a possibility, but it's definitely doing awesome. Love this plant so much. Down here is my Syntaxis Exotica, and I have been noticing a little bit of new growth in here. This one, if you guys recall, I think I purchased this one over the summer, and it really, since then, it really hasn't been putting out a ton of new growth. I think it's just been kind of acclimating to the environment, but now it's starting to give me some new leaves, so that's so exciting. What else do we have here? As always, my lipstick plant. This plant is always blooming for me, it seems. Such a pretty one. You guys might hear my dog in the background. So, so pretty. And down here, let's see, my Pilea. This one has been struggling for so long, and just within the last, I'd say 2 months or so, it seems to be doing a lot better. The leaves are coming in a little bit greener and healthier looking. So super happy about this guy. My lipstick plant, Black Pagoda. This one is also putting on lots of new growth. Little teeny tiny leaves in there coming through. Can't wait until this one really starts vining. I really love the lipstick plants. Very pretty. Calatheas. Now, there are some Calatheas that do really well for me. This Calathea Lancifolia is one of them. I haven't had any issues with this plant. I do give it distilled water, and it sits in a, see, this is a west-facing window over here, and over here is a north-facing window. So it gets some bright indirect light, and this one does really well for me. As well as this Calathea Maculata. This is another one that really does pretty well for me. But in general, for the most part, guys, I've went through quite a few Calatheas and Marantas, and generally I don't do very well with them. I guess I am finding my Marantas, which are in my living room, are not doing the greatest, and I'll show you those probably in another video. So, although I love the Marantas, they're beautiful, I can keep them for about 2 years or so, and then they start to decline. So, I'm not sure that I will be buying any more of the Marantas, the lemon lime or the red veined. Although I do love them, they just don't grow the best in my home. So, let me see. My little Begonia Maculata back there is doing okay. This one I think I've had for about, what, a year now or so. And when I first purchased this one from Lowe's, it was looking horrible. Lots of dying leaves, and just wasn't looking the greatest at all. I also think it had some powdery mildew when I first brought it home, so I did treat it for that. And although it is not, you know, it's not the best looking specimen, it is definitely a lot better looking than it was when I first brought it home. So super happy about that one. And up here, you guys probably remember this one. This one is my Peperomia Scandens Variegata. I repotted this one just a couple of weeks ago. Still looking kind of sad, but holding its own. And I'm expecting that it's going to look a little bit droopy probably for a couple of months. And then I'm expecting what is going to happen is I'll start to see some new growth in through that top area. And if these vines start to look too wilty within the next couple of weeks, I may trim them back. But otherwise, it's doing okay. Got some new growth on my Solenocerius chrysocardium, my fern leaf cactus. That one's getting some new growth. And let's see, you can see some there. And then there's some new growth down there as well. Really love that plant. Very unique looking. Pretty. What else can I show you guys? I need to do an updated houseplant tour. Here is my Dischidia Oyantha. It's just the green variety. Love this one. I treat it basically like a Hoya. I let it dry down quite a bit, and then I'll give it a good water, and it sits in this west-facing window that does get some pretty bright indirect lighting. Seems to like that spot. My Begonia Lucerna. This is one that I was struggling with several months back, and I cut it back and propagated the cuttings and then placed them back into the soil. And this one has since been doing a lot better for me, thankfully, because I really like this plant. Kind of temperamental, I think it can be, if it's not giving the perfect conditions. So, and this one does sit back from my west-facing window. Doesn't get any direct light, and it seems to be doing well there. Super pretty. My pretty little rabbit's foot fern. It's got lots of little new rhizomes, little feets in there. That's a pretty one. My little Brady. Mama's baby boy, aren't you? You mama's baby, yeah. Let me see, this is a Hawaiian Spider. Lots of new babies on this guy. Propagated a couple of them. This is one of them. The other one that I propagated has since went on to its new home. Super easy to propagate. All I do is I cut them off of the mother plant, pot them up into the soil, and I water the soil in. And then I let them sit for a while until they acclimate. This one I've had in this pot for about, gosh, I want to say 3 weeks now, and it's doing well. What do we have going on here? Everything is doing pretty well. This is a Tradiscantia white velvet. This one I received as a cutting on Marketplace over the summertime. It was just teeny tiny, and it's grown so much since then. Little overview of what we've got going on in here. Ivy. A lot of people hate ivy, and I can understand it because they do attract spider mites pretty easily. But to combat those, I just bring this whole plant into my kitchen and I spray it down with a mixture of soap and water, and then I just spray the entire plant down with my spray hose in the sink. And it hasn't had spider mites yet. I've had this plant for about 2 years, I think, and it does well, but you do have to keep an eye on it, because if you let it dry out too much, or if you have it in an area, like say, that's closer to heat vents or anything like that, you're bound to get some spider mites or dying leaves just because of the dry air. So I think this one does so well because it's in my back room and it's not exposed to any heat sources. My door is here that needs to be cleaned, but the cold temps, and it is cold here in New York, it's about, oh gosh, today I want to say it's about 42, 43, but it does get quite chilly at night. The cold temps don't seem to bother it as far as, you know, just regular in and out the door. I haven't had any issues. I've had this plant here for about, like I said, I think it's been like 2 years or so that I've had this plant. And like I said, as long as I rinse those leaves down, as long as I spray them down with a soap and water mixture, I don't get those spider mites on these guys, thankfully. This is my other one. This is one that died back, I want to say it was like over last summer because I forgot to water it. I repotted it into this planter, and I completely forgot to water it after that initial repot, and a lot of it died back. But since then, it's been doing a lot better. And that one is just the regular English ivy. Over there, that one is my curly ivy. So everything else is doing pretty good. Right here is that's my string of beads. This plant's doing fantastic, I think because it gets so much sunlight on the top of the pot. It's doing super well. My string of bananas, on the other hand, not the greatest looking right now. There's one of my Hoyas. I have 3 of those Hoya compactas. That one's doing good too. Over here, let's see. This is my string of bananas. You know, it's looking okay. It does get ample sunshine on the top of that pot, but for whatever reason, the string of bananas isn't the best grower for me. I don't know why. When the pot was looking a little bit more bare on the top, I did take a lot of, or a few strands, and I kind of pinned them into that top area, and it does look a little bit better. But like I said, it's still not, I mean, it's looking okay, I guess. It's doing what it needs to do, right? Doing what it feels it needs to do. Down here, some of my Hoyas. Right there to the left is my Hoya Rebecca. Love that plant, my namesake plant, because my name's Rebecca, so I love that one. My Crinklate back there. Hoya Pubicalic Splash. Whalefin. My Stapelia's doing okay. No new growth yet, but it's looking pretty green and healthy looking, so. My Hoya Macrophylla, that one's doing all right. And my Hoya Australis Lisa. And this one is getting some new growth in there. Very pretty. This one here, my Hoya Chelsea, I broke off some new growth on this one about a week ago. I can't see where I broke it off, but I know I broke a leaf off. This one I received from my friend Leona over at Lioness Tropicals. We did a little plant swap, and this was part of her swap. Love it. Thank you so much, Leona. Back there is my Hoya Carnosa. This one I purchased a couple months back. Was afraid of how it was going to do because I did receive it in some colder weather. It was shipped in some colder weather, so I was kind of worried about this one, but it's doing fine. It's getting some new growth there. So I guess that is it for today, guys. Okay, my friends, that is it for today's video. I hope you enjoyed my little planty updates. I will be doing a full houseplant tour probably within the next couple of weeks, so that will give you something to look forward to. And I hope you all have a beautiful and blessed new year. And I will see you in my next video. Bye-bye, guys.